First logical step to validating yourself is one, knowing the reason why you seek external validation. And the number one reason for seeking external validation is because you have deprived yourself of attention. Today, we're going to be talking about a few ways that you can self-validate yourself versus looking for external validation. The analogy I'm going to use today is basically that you are the plant. And when you validate yourself, you are watering your own plant. But when you look to your friend cactus, your cactus friend external validation, cactus is probably not going to give you the best advice for your plant. Now, whatever plant you put in your head, maybe, as we know, cactus doesn't need a lot of water. Cactus can stay in the sun a lot. But what if cactus comes and tells you, hey, you need to water yourself today. You need more water. You look real dry. But guess what? What if you just watered yourself earlier today, but when you listen to your friend cactus, now you didn't kill yourself because you didn't listen to the wrong advice, something that wasn't good for you. So how we can fix this is by simply getting to know yourself, simply watering your plants, simply paying attention to your plant, your flower, which is you. And so some ways that you can do that, instead of calling your friend cactus up, external validation, hey, what should we eat today? No, this is what you need to do. You need to take 2 weeks by yourself, take yourself on a date, write down a few different food places, Asian, Mexican, soul food. And I want you to go try those different foods out. So the next time you go out with someone, you're not calling your friend cactus here and saying, hey, what should I eat? You're going to be like, hey, what's up, external validation? I know for sure I want Chinese food today because that's what I am in the mood for. You've already validated that. You know what you want. You know what you're hungry for. You did the work. You did the research to see what you want. Okay, so we're going to talk about some ways that you can self-validate yourself in the beauty department, and ways that you might have been using to externally validate yourself without even knowing. So first, we're going to start with an external validation, which is maybe comparing yourself or validating yourself by your wealth, or validating yourself by your success in your career path, or validating yourself by a social status group, or even outside appearance, right? The way you dress. And those things can all change. So when you base yourself on those things, you're not really basing it on the inside of you. And that's what you need to validate. But when you self-validate in the beauty department, you want to start with your intelligence, your mindset, your heart, like your intentions, your purity, the way you move, your attitude. And we all know you can be one of the most beautiful girls on the planet, but as soon as you open up your mouth and your attitude stinks, you're done for, ugly. And then you have, last but not least, your morals and respect. How do you carry yourself? How do you respect yourself? This is sexy. This is beautiful. When you cater to those things versus overly assessing on the wealth, the career, the social status, the outside appearance, because guess what? When you obsess on this external validation here, these things and this group, you're going to overly look for validation from other people. You're never taking the time to check these things, because guess what? They don't care about your heart. They don't care about your attitude. If you got money, who cares about your heart? If you got a successful career, who cares about your attitude, right? You should care. You should care. So some ways to self-validate yourself could be checking in. Checking in with self just simply means that, hey, I'm seeing how I feel today. How do I feel? How do you feel, Jeriel? Okay, I feel happy. Do I feel sad? Okay, I'm feeling sad. Why do you feel sad, Jeriel? Oh, okay, I think when I left work today, there was a woman that gave me a really hard time. And now I'm just feeling like, I don't know if I can continue to work at this job because I feel like this has been a continuous thing. And so now I realize that I'm feeling sad because I'm not doing things to set my own soul on fire. Okay? So that's when you check in with yourself. You have to check in with yourself, like checking in with your flower to see if your flower or your plant needs water. Simple. When you check on yourself, that means that you are also acknowledging your feelings, your emotions. You're not just saying, okay, I'm upset, I'm mad, but I'm just going to be mad for the rest of the day, so I'm going to be angry and act nasty to people. You're like, no, I'm going to sit myself down. I'm going to sit my inner child down and see why we are upset today. Acknowledgement. So, another way to self-validate yourself is by relying on your own intuition. Okay. When you sit here and you rely on your own intuition, this can be, let me give you an example. Today you were supposed to go out with your friend Cactus, the external validation, right? But in your spirit, in your intuition, something is telling you, nah, don't hang out with that person today. Nah, don't go there today. You're feeling uneasy inside your intuition, inside your temple, inside your mind, inside your own body. So instead of you listening to yourself, you go and say, you know what, Cactus, external validation, I'm going to hang out with you today. We're going to go out tonight and we're going to go hang out with these guys. Or we're going to go club tonight. And then something ends up happening. Now your car is booted. Now you lost your car keys. Now you and your friend Cactus, the external validation, is getting in a fight because you guys aren't agreeing on the same thing anymore. The party isn't fun anymore. So now you're over here beating yourself up because you felt internally earlier that, hey, I don't feel like we need to go to this party. I don't feel like we need to meet up with these people. But instead you didn't listen to yourself. You completely threw yourself, your value, your opinion in the trash. You allowed yourself, you said to yourself and your friend Cactus here, I don't matter. What I think doesn't matter. What I say doesn't matter. What I'm feeling doesn't matter. It doesn't hold any weight. It doesn't hold any value. So then you gave everything and you gave the value, you gave the power to your friend Cactus here, external validation. When you already told yourself earlier, hey, I don't feel right. But sometimes it takes us going through these things so we can build trust within ourselves. So another way to validate yourself is just simply trusting yourself. Knowing that you have the right answer for yourself. You have the best intentions for yourself. Here's another example to self-validate yourself. You have to fall in love with yourself. Another way to validate yourself is by looking in the mirror, affirming that you are beautiful, affirming that you are intelligent, affirming that you got this, affirming that you are walking in your power. Because you can go out in the streets and guess what? Somebody can say to you, hey, your hair looks a mess. But guess what? If you already looked at yourself in the mirror today and said, girl, you look like that girl today. I love the hair. I love the nails. I love the fit. You go outside, somebody, external validation can be everywhere. You be on a billboard of a woman having curly hair, but your hair is straight. But now you're going to look at that woman and say, oh, I'm not as beautiful because my hair is not curly. No. You say, you can say, hey, she's beautiful, but I know that I am also beautiful. Okay? In my own light, in my own way. Because I am this monstera. I am this daisy. And I water myself. I check in with myself. I pay attention to myself. I love myself. I listen to myself. I believe in myself. These are ways to self-validate. Because when you don't have this within yourself, you're always going to look for it externally. Whether that be you calling someone saying, hey, should I be doing this? People can give you their opinions, but only you know exactly what you need to be doing. Only you know how far you can take yourself. Other people can see your light. Other people can see things about you, but only you can get yourself there. And also, only you can take yourself and put yourself in a dark space. Because you're seeking external validation, whether it be from your job, from your family, from your friends, from your lover. Another thing is when you self-validate yourself, sometimes people get into a relationship and forget who they are and they're just looking to their partner to figure out everything for them. That's why some men are so upset with women like, dang, you just don't know what you want to eat because you're so codependent on the man or that external validation that you don't even take the time to get to know yourself. So to sum this up, to self-validate yourself, you need to know yourself. You need to know yourself more than anyone else around you. You need to study yourself. Things you don't like about yourself. You have to point those things out, acknowledge it, and then work towards it. Okay, here's one. I don't like that I make unrealistic goals for myself. So this is, and I never reach them. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at these books and be like, you know what? I don't know if I can truly read all of this in 1 month, all 4 of these books. But when you break it down and you say, hey, 30 pages per day, 15 pages per day, now you figured out how to get that 1 book done in a week. Now guess what? The rest of the 3 books, you'll be able to get done in that week's in each week span over that course of the month, because you've already figured out your equation and how to get to that end goal for yourself. But now the other 3 weeks, I know for sure I can finish that 4 book per month goal, because I figured out how to break the goal down into pieces for myself, for me to actually do it. Another way to self-validate yourself is simply finding happiness within. When you continuously seek your friend external validation, you're never really doing things to make yourself happy. You're always doing things to simply please the outside source. And that can get tiring, trying to please the people around you, trying to please your friends, your family. Because guess what? The last person that's getting attended to, you. That means when you're doing things like, say, hey, your friend calls and says, let's go out of town this weekend with so and so and so and so. They're buying the flights, or I'm gonna buy the flights. And they know that you have a big project that you need to get done, so you need to get done for your job, so you can hire your position in the workplace. But instead, you sit here and listen to external validation and saying, hey, there's a group of guys there, I'm gonna pay for this. You're listening to all the things that they're offering and doing, but that's not the things that make you happy. Getting to this higher position in your career is what's going to truly make you happy. So instead, when you don't listen to yourself, you go with your friend, and now you've missed out on your opportunity for your life to be better, just because they wanted you along for the fun. So remember, when you're looking to self-validate, just simply get to know yourself. That's all. Get to know yourself. Take time with yourself. Date yourself. Fall in love with yourself. Study yourself. Reassure yourself. Affirm yourself. So when you walk out those doors, you're walking with your head high. I'm not saying you got to walk around with a big ego, but don't walk around too humbly either. Walk with the right amount of balance and the right amount of knowing thyself. Self-validation is simply knowing thyself. Another way to validate self is by just being your own friend. Learning what it feels like to be a friend to yourself. What you don't like about yourself, what you do like about yourself, and then working on the things that you don't like about yourself. So when you go outside, hey, I know that I always overtalk people, but I'm going to work on that internally. So when I go back out with my good friend, I am not going to overtalk them. I'm going to let them speak. Or, hey, I have this amazing personality where I know that I light up rooms. So now you say to yourself, I'm not going to allow myself to just be accessible in each and every event there's to come. I'm going to choose the 1 or 2 events that I want to show up to, because I know that I have potent energy and I don't want to just release it anywhere. I want to hone that energy in for places and peoples and things that deserve it. And so I'm going to make sure that I'm not so accessible this year, so accessible this week, this month, or whatever the case may be, because I know what I bring to the table. So first you have to be a friend to yourself first, versus being codependent on so many different personalities and people. Sometimes you see a group of friends and none of them even like themselves. None of them like each other. Sometimes you'll hear somebody say, oh, that's my friend, but then she's calling you a BICTH to your face, or she's talking about you behind your back. So it's like, just like you don't have to settle for a relationship in an intimate one, you don't have to settle for a mediocre relationship in your job, yourself, or your friends. So self-validate before someone else validates you. Self-validation also looks like just simply knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. You can study them. Okay, cool. I know I'm really good with kids, but your family, your friends told you to go to college, and now you're sitting here in debt and all this other stuff because you went for a topic that you had no interest in. But now, because you've gotten to know yourself, you're like, wow, I love working with kids. This is my career path. I want to get paid to do something that I'm passionate about. Versus, hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to go to college. Oh, you need to have a degree. Why? Why is this good for me? What am I going to do with that degree? Am I going to do anything with that degree? Or am I going to just have this degree is going to be sitting up here on a nice plaque with my name on it, getting dusty while I'm over here accumulating debt? But when you study yourself and you study the crafts, you study your strengths, you know what direction to go in. You don't have other people telling you, oh, you need to be a flight attendant. You need to do this. You need to do that. Oh, well, since you don't like working, how do you know I don't like working? And guess what? They don't really know that. But it's all about what you know about yourself. Study yourself. Study yourself like they study those books, like they study these academics, like they study everybody else. Study yourself. Numero uno is self. So, until next time, guys, if you guys ever want me to teach a lesson or a topic, please write it in the comments and I will get it right up here and drop a video on how I can teach it to you guys. So, talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Don't forget, self-validate. No external validation.